And let me introduce to you all the Scholar IT Solutions. And as you all know, that the Scholar IT Solutions is a group of professional people with technical and domain expertise and who are providing different IT solutions to multiple clients in all over USA. And it is one of the best company in US. And I would like you to follow Scholar IT on different network sites like the Facebooks and the LinkedIn page. And for today, I, Shweb Ansari, will be conducting this online webinar for Oracle patching. And we will try, today's agenda, as you can see, is about the Oracle patch nomenclature. We will see the difference between PSUs and the RU and RUR. We will see from where we can download the patches. We will see the patching naming conventions. And we will try to do the hands-on by applying an RU patch on a 12C R2 database. So this is today's agenda. Just give me a 1 minute, 2 minutes. Let me just, then we will start that. Yes, guys. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so we see about the Oracle patching. And as you all know, that Oracle releases patches for its different products. And the purpose of that is to just enhance the feature and the stability of the products. And these releases of the patches are quarterly in nature. And it is highly recommended to apply these patches in order so that you are stay out of threats. Okay, so when we talk about the Oracle patch nomenclature, we can see that we have multiple type of patches available. For example, we have a PSU patch, which is a patch set update, and as you all know that this is a cumulative patch that contains the fixes and the security fixes as well as the additional fixes. We have this PSU patch, and when you apply a PSU patch, it will just be a minor version upgrade. For example, if it is a version is 11.2.0.1.1, and when you apply a PSU patch, it will reach to 11.2.0.1.2. That's only a minor version upgrade. And PSUs are no longer available in future releases because Oracle has made a change in the patching, and they have come up with a different kind of patchings, which we will see in the later slides. Then we can see that we have a CPU, that is a critical patch update. And these are cumulative patches, and which is consisting of the security fixes only. And these are released on the quarterly basis. We can think of the CPU as an overarching quarterly release, and it is not a single patch. It is a cumulative patch, which is consisting of multiple patches. And as you know, that CPUs are molecular in nature. It means that you can have them fixed in a groups, and if there is any conflict in that, we can remove those conflicting patches. Then we have the SPU with us. Sorry. Yeah, we have the SPU patch with us, and it's an iterative cumulative patch consisting of the security fixes. And formerly it was known as the CPU critical patch updates, but it's now just a new name, which is the security patch update. and these are also released quarterly. And CPUs can be not applied once the PSU are applied onto that. You have to see when to have to apply them. We will discuss that also. Okay, we have some more patches, like we have the OJVM, that is the Oracle Java VM patches, which include the fixes for the Oracle Java components, which are used within the Oracle databases. Then there are the diagnostic patch, which are a type of interim patches, which are used only to diagnose a specific issue or a problem. Then we have the interim patch, also called as one of patches, and they are only there for a single bug fixes. Okay, so we have some more patches, like we have a cumulative patch, a patch which includes the bugs, securities, fixes, which have been released all over the PSUs and the CPUs. So it's a cumulative patch, it's a combination of every bug fixes. Then we have a mitigation patch, is for an interim solution. Whenever a client demands for any solution for a particular fix, we give the mitigation patch. And we have the bundle patches. Normally, we still have the bundle patches with us, and which are used for Windows only, right? Then we have the replacement patch. If suppose a support teams gives you any finds any errors in your bug fixes, so they can recommend you for the replacement patch. We have the security patches that are only for the security purpose. We have a merge label request, MLR, and these are the bundle patches fixing several bugs. Then we have the CVEs. Normally we see them, and we have the vulnerables and exposures for that. We got the CVE numbers accordingly, and we can get the patches for them. We can download and we can patch them so that we are away from the threats. And in the screen you can see the RU, that is the release update, and RUR, that is the release update revisions. And these are the two new things that have been introduced starting from 12.2 version. From now onwards, we will be getting the RU release updates and the release updates revisions. We will see the details what they are. Okay, so in the older version, when we talk about, we used to have the PSU, we have the patch set updates, we used to have the bundle patches. As I told you about, that bundle patches are for Windows 1. But now, from onwards, from 12.2 release, we will be getting the release updates and the release updates revisions. So let's see something about the internals into this. We have a PSU patch, which is a patch set update, and normally it consists of the security fixes and the bug fixes. Then we have a bundle patch, which is a combination of a PSU patch, as well as you have the optimizer fixes into that, and you have the functional fixes. So this we used to have. Now there is a change in which the change is this, that we have the RU and the RURs. Let's see what they are. As you can see, that RUR is a combination of your security fixes, your optimizer fixes, your functional fixes, and your bug fixes. And every quarterly, these RURs are released. And in the next quarter, suppose for let's take an example. In July, we have an RU release, a release update. One is released in July. In October, we will get a release update 2 version, and it will have a new fixes for the optimizer, new fixes for the functional things, new fixes for the security, new fixes for the bugs. And the same time, the same October time, we will also get a release update revision, which will only have the security fixes and the bug fixes. It will not have the optimizer or the functional fixes. Similarly, when we go to the next quarter, that is January, you can have a new release update, and we will have a release revision updates 2, which will only get the new security fixes and the regression fixes or the bug fixes, and we will not get the optimizers and the functional fixes in the RURs. Okay, so this is the place. If you want, if you're looking for some patches, you can go to this site and we can download the patches as per the requirement. Or we have the specific MetaLink doc IDs, which are there for which you can use, and you can use these doc IDs to specifically download the 11 versions patches or 12 version patches. So we can use them also. Version, and we have the year in which it was released. Well, it is released in 18, and the month is July, and the date is 17. Similarly, we should also focus on the patch which we are downloading. That the patch which we are downloading should have it's always important to have this patch for the DB version, to look into it, for which DB version you are downloading the patch and for which OS version it is. It's always important to notice that thing, that we are downloading the patch for the correct DB version and with the correct OS version, and as well as the bytes of that. Okay, so now we can see that there's a little bit change in the naming conventions. Now, when we talk about the release updates, we have the 12.2. There will be a build date. For example, it is built in April 2012, and there's a which quarter it belongs to, and that there's a database release. So this is a new naming convention for the release updates as well as for the release update revisions. Okay, so in today's session, we will try to apply a patch on Oracle 12c Release 2 version. We will be using a patch 32540.149, and we will try to apply this on the database side. So before we start the patching, we have to see some high-level steps for that. We have to check what is the current OPatch version right now. We have to see the and if the Oracle recommends in the README that you have to apply, you should have a higher OPatch, then we have to upgrade the OPatch utility. Then we have to shut down the database and the running listeners and all the services on that, and then we will apply the PSU on our Oracle home. Once it is being done, we will execute the post installation scripts, that is the data patch. And after that, we will start the database and the listeners, and we will check from the DBA registry that the patch has been applied or not. Okay, so like this screen is about the prerequisites OPatch utility, where we are just seeing from this example on the left side. I've set the environment variables, and we are checking like which version we are currently having for the OPatch, and that is 12.2.0.16. And the patch which we are applying today requires a higher version, so we will be downloading a patch, OPatch, for that. I have already downloaded the patch, and which we will see during the hands-on session for that. As you can see here, that for the OPatch utility, we have to move that patch as a old. We will just remove the old OPatch, and we will unzip the patch which we have with us, so that we can upgrade the OPatch. And once we unzip the OPatch which we have downloaded, you can see here the version of the OPatch is changed. In the previous slide, we can see that the O patch version was 12.2.106, which is a lesser version, and Oracle recommends to have a version like 12.2.0.1.25, so that in order you can apply the RU latest patches. Here we are trying to see that using the O patch ls inventory command, that which patches are installed in our machine. So as of now, we don't have any patches installed in our products. You can also use these commands to see which patches are being installed. We have an O patch ls inventory, and from there you can say grep -i applied. It will show you which patches are being applied, and we can see there are no patches running right now. Even we can do the same, we can check the same from the database level. We have to go into the SQL Plus, and we have to use the query, select patch ID, version, action, status, action time, and description from the DBA registry SQL patch. And as you can see from the screen that we don't have any output for this. So we are assuming that we don't have any patches installed in this database. So next, what we will do is we will download the patch. I will place that patch in a particular folder, and then we will unzip that patch. So we have a patch, as I told you, that we are working with a patch that is P32540.149. We are using this patch, the RU patch for our database. And when you unzip the patch, as you can see in the above screen, when we unzip it, it will uncompress these things, and you will get a folder called 32540.149, and it will have a multiple sub patches into that, and we will be using those to apply them. With this, we have to do a patch conflict detection for this, and for this we have set some Oracle. We will set the Oracle home. We will set the correct Oracle path, O patch path, and then we will try to see the conflict detection. For this, there is a command that O patch prerequisite check conflicts against the Oracle home, and we will do this for every patch that we have. As you can see that when we just unzip this patch, we got multiple patches. Like there is a patch 32507738 727.421. So we have to do the conflict check for all each patches that we are applying here. So we will do the conflict check for each patch here. And as you can see, for everything, for every patch, the O patch has been succeeded. There is no conflict. Everything is passed here. We have checked it for other remaining two here, and they have also passed in the screenshots. Then we will try to patch our database. And here in today's example, we will be patching the database, which is a non-rack database. It is a single environment database, and we will be patching that database. And for a non-rack environment, we have to shut down all the instances and listeners and other services which are associated with the Oracle home, and then only we will update it. Okay, here in the slides, I'm trying to show you that we can see that there is a command called ps-ef grep -i pmon, and it will show that which database is running. So we have a running database. We can see the listeners are running. So as you know, before applying the patch, we have to shut down the database. We will shut down the database, and we will stop the listeners so that nothing is running from the Oracle home. And we will rerun the above commands to see that we don't get any output. We don't get any running databases or the listeners. Before we apply the patch, we have to do a system check also, so that we have a sufficient amount of space in our system before applying a patch. So that's the command for this, that there is a prerequisite system check space, and we will give a complete list of, here I have made a temporary file, temp patch list db home, and it has all the patches information. I will show you during the hands-on session that how we did that. And then we will be applying the patch on the Oracle home. So this is the command which we have, this Oracle home, opatch apply -OH, that is the Oracle home we will provide, and the local where the patch is residing. So if a patch is not needed, it will be skipped. And if a patch is to be applied, it will ask you that, okay, I need to apply the patch. Do you want to continue with these patches? You have to press Y or no in order to proceed or in order to decline. So once you say yes, it will again start applying the patches. It will apply the patch here. In the second example, I'm trying to show to apply a second patch with the numbers 738 in the last. And the same thing, it will also ask for the user respond. We will respond using the Y here. It will be applying all the patch, and we can see that patch is successfully applied. If we are getting this error, we can ignore these errors, because here you can see the files in the if there's a 0 in the last of the file, they are the backup files. So we can ignore these errors. There's nothing harm in that, ignoring them. Once the patch is being installed, we will open our database, and if we have a CDB concept and PDBs, then we will open all the PDBs that are inside the CDB. And once all the CDBs and PDBs are open, we will use a data patch. And data patch is a post-patch thing, which is actually a new tool that enables automation of post-patch. Before, we used to apply those things manually to check everything, but now we have a data patch, which is for automatic. It will check for everything, which patches are being applied, what rollback is being done. So it will do everything for automatic things. And then we can use the same command that I show you in the beginning slides, that we have a patch ID version. So we can see that there is a patch being applied from the SQL level, as well as we can see from the opatch ls inventory which patches are being applied. Okay, so let's do the hands-on for that. Okay, so as you can see right now, we have on this machine, we have a database with a name called ORCL running. We have a listener also running. So we have these two things running right now. If you want, you can connect to this database. We can see how many PDBs are there. Okay, and let's go step by step then. So, okay, so first let's see how to see an opatch version. So these are the commands for that. We will go to the Oracle home for that. So first of all, we will go to the CD $Oracle_home/opatch. The OP are in caps. And once you are here, we have to say opatch version. Okay, so you can see that there is an opatch version that is 12.2.0.1.6, and it is a lower version. We cannot apply a patch using this opatch version. So we have to download the latest patch, or the latest opatch we have, and we will use that one. So for that, what the steps we'll be using is that we will move this opatch directory. As you can see here, so we have our opatch directory here, and we will move this opatch directory, right, as a backup. So now we have an old patch backup directory here. We will have just taken a backup of this, and I have already downloaded the patch, the latest patch for the O patch, and it is resided in a folder here, which is media SF patches. Okay, this is a patch which we have for that, the latest one, which Oracle is suggesting us to use this. And what we're going to do is we're going to unzip this patch in the Oracle home that we are using. So this is the command. It will directly unzip this patch into the directory or into the Oracle home directory. We will use this command. And once this O patch is unzipped here, we will again check the O patch version, and it will be different from the last which we did. So you can see that there is now a new folder O patch, which is being just now updated after I unzip the O patch one. So we have updated the O patch version, and now we will be able to easily apply the patches. So we have seen how we can upgrade the O patch version. Let's see if is there any patches being installed. We can see there are no interim patches. There is no patches being installed in this Oracle home, in this database. So we will be doing that. We will be applying these patches. There's a different command also for this. What you can do is just simple command here. It will just show you that which patches are being applied. So these are the few commands that you can use handily in order to find which patches are being applied. I told you that these are the also option, and second option is that you go directly to the database that you have, and you can use this command here in order to see which patches are being applied from the DBA registry. And as you can see, there is no row selected, so we can say that there is no patches applied here. Okay. So I have already downloaded a patch, which will be RU patch, which you will be applying here. And that is my patch number 325400149. We will unzip this patch. I have already unzipped in order to save a little bit of time. And once you unzip this patch using this command, unzip, and then we'll give the patch path, it will make this folder here, and we can go to this folder and we can see these multiple patches. Once we have these patches as extracted, it is always recommended to use this readme.html before applying the patches. In my slide, I have shown you the extracts from these readme only, and which we have been following that extracts and the readme. So it is always advisable to do that. Okay, so now the next thing was to check the conflict. Is there any conflict? If I'm applying this patch, is there any problem in that? So we will check that out. So for that, we will be exporting the path with the O patch. Once it is being done, we can see now from where the O patch is running. And we will go into these specific folders of the patches, and we will see whether is there any conflict in that or not. Okay, so I will be going to specific folder. Let's go to the folder 77, the last one here. We can go to that one. So we have a command for that. We can go to CD, and we'll go to the specific directory there, and we can use this O patch prerequisite check conflict command for this. Okay, so the O patch is succeeded. There is no conflict with this. And similarly, we will do the same things for all the folders that we have of the patches here. We will do for each and every one so that we are sure that there is no conflict in that. So I'm gonna do it pretty fast with you. Let's go this here, and then we will check that for this patch number. Okay, so there is patch succeeded for that. Moving to the third one. Okay, this also succeeded, so there is no conflict with this also. And the remaining last two, let's check them also. Okay, there is no problem with this. And then we will use the last one here. So we can see that there is no conflict in the patches. That's good. Then the second thing is that we will check that all the services are down. And as you know, this is the command to see. We have just seen this before also, that there was a database running. And there is a listener also running. So we will shut down the database, we will shut down, and we will stop the listener. So let me shut down the database. Okay, the database is down. You can confirm it with a command, that is pmon command here. Now it's not running. Similarly, we will stop the listener. We will check whether the listener is running or not. And we can see that this listener is also stopped now. Now we will check for the space thing. Okay, so what I have done is I have made a file here, temp patchlist dbhome.txt, and this consists of the location for all the patches that we have. So you can use the command that I have shown in the notepad here to copy all the locations of the patches to a single file with a name called patch list dbhome, and then we will check for the space conflict. Whether we have a good space or not? We will check that. Okay, so do we have a system check also passed? Now we will be applying the patches one by one, and this is the command for that. You have to say Oracle Home opatch apply is the command which we will be using to apply a patch, and then we have to give the Oracle Home, and then we can specify the patch path, which patch we want to apply. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, it has skipped this patch because this patch is not being applied. As you can see that I am applying a patch which is a number 32540.149. This is a GI patch, and in today's example, we are trying to apply a RU patch on a database which is non-RAC. Only in case of RAC we have the GI components. So as we don't have a running rack with us, we are just doing this patching on a single standalone. So that's why Oracle has to skip this patch. So out of these 5 patches, we will see that few of them will be skipped and few of them will be applied. And we will see which are being applied. We will discuss about them also in just few minutes. So then we just check that the first patch number, that is the last 277, is skipped. Let's try a second one. Okay, so here we can see that this patch is running. This patch is 727, and this is actually my Oracle Clusterware patch, OCW patch. And when you just start the patching, it will ask you, do you want to proceed? So if you want to proceed, we have to press in Y here, and then it will apply the patch here. So this 727 is actually the Oracle Clusterware patch. And as you know that we can use, whenever you will be using the rack components, the Oracle data warehouse, this Oracle Home will be conducting or will be connecting with the grid infrastructure. So we require Oracle Clusterware components in the Oracle Home also. Like we have the command called srvctl. So for them we are using this patch. If there is any bug fixes for them, so we are using this one. That's why it is being applied here. Okay, so it says, is the Oracle system ready for the patching? Yes, my Oracle system is ready because I have shut down my database. I have shut down my listeners. Nothing is running from the Oracle Home. So we'll say yes here. So right now my patch, the OCW patch, that is 727 in the last, is applied. Let's move to a third one. Okay, this is also a script. In today's online webinar, I'm just working on the non-rack. In the second coming up, I will be working on the rack components. So we are applying right now the patch that is 738 in the last, and it is a release update patch. Okay. So it says, do you want to proceed? I say yes, we want to apply this release update patch. It's asking that the local system is ready for patching. So yes, everything is down. Oracle Home is good for patching. So we'll apply this patching. And once this patches is complete, it will work. We'll go to the last one, and it will actually be skipped. It's not being used. So just wait for a few seconds or minutes. Once it's being applied here, okay, it's applying to the components. So as we can see on the screen, it's applying different patching on the different components like the SQL Plus components, the JDK components, the RDBMS components. So patching are just the bug fixes. If any bug is there in any of the components, by applying the latest patch, we can overcome those bugs. Okay. And as I told you in the session that if any error is coming up like this, we can easily ignore this error because the files here, as you can see, there is a file called ext job, and in the last we have a 0 here. So we can ignore these things if we get them in the patching part, because these are the backup files. So we can easily ignore those files with a 0 in the last. There's no problem if you are getting them the warnings. Okay, the last one I'm applying is going to be skipped because it's not being used for the this database home. Okay, so we can see this is being skipped. Okay, so now all the folders are in the main GI patch have been applied. Okay, now we will go with the startup of the databases, and we have to do the data patch, a post patch thing. For the data patch, which is the post patch, we have to open all the databases. Okay, and if we are using a CDB and PDBs, we have to open the PDBs also. Okay, let's start up the database. So I'm starting my container database right now. Okay, we can see that there is a PDB which is actually into a mount mode. So we have to open this PDB also. Okay, so now the PDB is also in the open mode here. And once the database is open, the PDBs are open, we will use the data patch, which is a automation of the post patch. Let's see how to apply that. We will go to the opatch directory. And here we will use the command data patch verbose. So it is connecting to the database, no problem with connecting to the database. It will checking everything, it will see which patches are being applied, and it will update the DBA registry. In the earlier releases, we used to apply these, we used to do the post patching manually, but now it is automated. We have to just run this patch for us. And once this is being done, we will log in into the database and we will check from the DBA registry SQL patch which patch is being applied. As well as you can see here also the following patches has been applied. We have applied 738. I told you about this, that 738 is a database release update patch. And in today's seminar, we are applying this on a single standalone database. And for the next seminar, I'm planning to for the RAC one. You will see how to apply it in the RAC as a rolling up fashions. So release updates are something which is new, which is being introduced by Oracle from 12.2 onwards. If you will go with the earlier release, like 12.2 release 1 or 11G release 4, we used to have the PSUs with us, but now from the 12C release 2 onwards, or 18C, 19C, 20C, we will be getting the release update patches. So once this is complete, we will check from the database level as well as from the OPatch LS inventory which patches are being applied. And as you can see also in the note section, that data page will apply or roll back the SQL fixes for PDBs that are on the open state. So don't forget to open the PDBs which are there in the database. So if you will not open them, data patch will not work for that. So it is always recommended to open all the PDBs that you have in your CDBs. So that we have a command, as I shown here, is all alter pluggable database, a PDB name, and open. If you have multiple PDBs, you can, instead of giving the PDB name, you can say all, alter pluggable database all, open. So by the time it is running there, let me see in the backend what is happening and which patches are being applied. Okay, so we can see here, we can use this ls inventory command in order to see which patches are being applied. So it says that there's a patch 32507.338 which is being applied, and this is a database patch or release update. It is being applied in my database here, as well as a second patch was also applied. Okay, so that was 2385503, which is sorry, the patch number is this. In the last it is 727, and it is the OCW release update, which is actually Oracle clusterware things. So these two patches are being applied here. So we can use these things from the opatch ls inventory command in order to see which patches are applied. We will wait till the time this data patch work is done. With this, I want you to have a more understanding about how the release updates are being released and how they come up. As I told you that there is a RU and RUR concept here. So RU stands for release updates and RUR is for release update revisions. So in every quarter, we will have the release updates with us every quarter. This is the time which Oracle releases the things. So as you can see, whenever there is a release update, there will be a change in the last digit. So here it was 18.6 and here it is going to be 18.7. In the coming up releases is going to be 18.8 and similarly 18.9. So whenever you do a release update patching, the second digit will change. Okay, and whenever we go with the RUR, in this case is a release update revision, there will be a second change in number, second position. So it is 18.6.1. So 1 is here, this is being changed. So it is 18.6.2. The 2 is being changed. So these are the way in which it will work. That is the patching numbers that I was trying to tell you. The second thing can be that in the first quarter, that is in April, an RU patch is being given to you. You will get a release update revision 1 only in the next quarter. So in the next quarter, that is July, you are getting an RU patch also with you, as well as a RUR 1 patch. And when we move to the third quarter, we will see that this is 18.6.1, which is being released, and then it is 18.6.2 that is release update 2. So this is the way we will have the RUR. You will not get a third RUR. Okay, we will not get 18.6.3. Okay. I think it's taking a lot of time. Let's see whether database is not. So even from here, I'm trying to show you whether this patch is being applied or not. Yes, showing us. I don't know why it's taking a lot of time to install these patches. Okay. So it's coming out. Okay. So we can say that patching installation complete. On the PDB is also done, on the CDB and the root container databases. Okay, so we have learned how to install an RU release update patch on a single standalone database. We have only applied a patch on the Oracle home of a single standalone. This is not an RAC. In the next seminar, we are going to work on the RAC part, and we will see how to apply the patches node by node in a rolling fashion. I hope this session helps you to understand the RU patches, the new things that we have in the coming ups. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Questions, you can paste them in the chat section. Thank you, Anza. Yes, thank you, Meng. We will be considering the patching and the standby also. Okay, Nasir, in the next session, we will try to add the error section also, what kind of errors we can get. We will try to mitigate them. Okay, we have a rollback session also. We can roll back these patches. Okay, so as the time does not permits me to that, so let me plan for the next session for the rollbacks also. Okay, thank you for that. I will try to include the rollback sessions, so how to roll back a patch in my next session. Okay, I will take all the questions that we have here, and I will try to have and answer them during using my next webinar. I will try to show how we can resolve them or how can we can do them. I can see multiple questions coming up from all the people here, that if you have a single home and multiple DBs, how we can we roll back. I will take everything in the next sessions. Yes, you're right, IJ, that we have a O-patch auto, definitely. So definitely we can use O-patch auto, which is automatic, which takes care of everything. Even normally I use O-patch during the rack sessions, because in rack we have to bring down the clusters and everything. Basically I use O-patch during that time, but in this session I want to keep it very, very basic so that everybody can have understanding from the patching level, which is being introduced from the release update level. So in the next session, we will try to get the O-patch auto ones. Thank you, everyone.